Good morning, everybody. How are you all this morning? It is 9:25 as the crow flies. I wonder, do crows fly according to time? I think they do, but yeah, how are you all this morning? I'm happy to be here among the living. I normally go outside and look for locations, and I thought this morning, hey, it's Tuesday morning. Why don't I do the shocking truth here at home, right? I don't have to worry about locations outside. But green, I have green up here because Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, his favorite color is green, I believe, also because he's an autistic teenager. That's what we're going to be talking about here. So don't go anywhere. Let me just get started here. It's not going to be, let's hear the music. Anyways, and creepy. But listen, today on the shocking truth, as I see it, facts that need to be revealed in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers abduction case. I'm calling it an abduction case, right? He's a missing autistic teen. He did not run away from home. No, not at all. In fact, let's just get right into this here. Today, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, for those of you who don't know, autistic teenager, out for a day of dancing and dining, or should I say shopping and having his last meal with his biological mother, Katie Lynn Rosenbaum, Payne, Rogers, Proudfoot. And yes, we're talking about Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, say his name as Silver's on the Scene says. But Katie Lynn Rosenbaum, Payne, Rogers, Proudfoot, last seen, she and Sebastian, he was last seen with her in public with his mother Katie at the Texas Roadhouse Steakhouse there in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Sadly and possibly indeed for his last meal. You see, that's where he vanished from, for all intents and purposes. We don't know that he ever made it home, right? His mother says that, but those of you following along, you know what I'm talking about. And those of you just hearing about this, be careful. It's a deep rabbit hole. Now, missing without a trace according to his mom and stepfather, Christopher Bowersox Proudfoot, no relation to any American Indians that I'm aware of. And by the way, stepfather Christopher Proudfoot was nowhere supposedly in the home or the city at the time because he was hours away getting ready to go to work the next morning, climbing into his crane because he's a crane operator, right? To date, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and the FBI have nothing to report. No. So earlier this morning, after looking at this and looking at that, a little this, little that, right? I made note of an audio clip that I never heard before. I don't know if y'all have heard this or not, and I lost the clip, but it was of Sebastian Rogers, this young man, excitedly talking about picture day the next day at school. And it just gave me a completely new insight as to how smart this young man is, right? He didn't just walk off, folks. He did not do that. He was too smart to just walk off without shoes. I mean, he disappeared without anything, right? And now today, yes, 513 days, 73 weeks since his mother, Katie Proudfoot, claims that he vanished in the night, right? Missing without a trace. Quoting his stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, who nowhere around allegedly during Sebastian's disappearance. Yeah, so his father claims he disappeared like a ninja and reported Sebastian missing. The question remains, a couple questions remain. What happened to Sebastian Rogers? February 25th, last year, 2024. Next question, what are the parents doing to aid in discovering the truth about Sebastian? There's some differences here between the biological father, Seth Rogers, the biological mother, Katie Proudfoot, and her husband, Chris Proudfoot. Why would an innocent party not do everything in their power to find their child? Everything. Biological father Seth Rogers remains vigilant and hoping, praying, and exhausting any and every lead that goes his way. Yet in the last 73 weeks, Seth can be seen or heard looking for his son every week, from wearing his Find Sebastian t-shirts to doing everything he can to help others find his son. And then we probably heard from those responsible for Sebastian's welfare that evening. Yeah, his mother and stepfather, right? They were responsible. He was living with them. They're responsible for his welfare. Maybe we've heard from them 10 times in the last 73 weeks. Okay, maybe I'm underestimating. Maybe it's 20 times in the last 73 weeks. The last 513 days. And as a biological mother and stepfather of a child you claim to love, you really only have very little to ever say. Let's reference the recent America's Most Wanted segment on Sebastian. Look it up. You got to see it. I was excited to hear that they were going to do something about it, and then I was disappointed to hear that they really only did like 8 minutes of the entry into that segment. I think it was the first America's Most Wanted missing persons. But I understand why now. When you really take a look at that short segment, really look at it and listen, and you'll see why it was such a short segment. Chris and Katie they would not allow America's Most Wanted to record inside their home, right? Or even look into Sebastian's bedroom. Speculation is that maybe there's not a bedroom there anymore. Maybe it's a man cave or a she shed or who knows what, a bar. Who knows what they did in that home or what they do in that home. Instead, America's Most Wanted, they brought to the hotel or wherever they were doing the filming at, they brought an 8x10 of Sebastian, right? About that size, a 5x7 of Sebastian, and 2 small toys to the hotel where this interview took place to represent their missing child. That's the only things they could bring, 2 photos and 2 small toys. Makes me wonder, did they pick up the toys at the Walgreens on the way to the interview? Am I the only one to think this strange behavior from a missing child's mother? Forget the stepfather for a minute. I know it's hard to do, but it's not that hard to do. Just forget the stepfather for a minute. Wouldn't any loving mother probably do more than the father, the biological father, and or the stepfather? Wouldn't a loving mother do more? Wouldn't they be out there like Seth is every week, every opportunity in front of a camera, in front of a microphone saying, bring my son home. And whoever did it, we're going to get you. That's a fact there. Then I found a very interesting video clip from Silver's on the Scene. For those of you who don't know him, do a little search real quick. Silver's on the Scene, where he was driving through the Stafford Court neighborhood. And it appears to be a yard sale weekend, a couple weeks ago, right? I got possible 2 months ago. That's what I thought. I was happy to see a small Sebastian sign in front of the Proudfoot home. You know, I've been going on for months thinking they have done everything to stonewall this, including no signs. Granted, it's only a little sign. It's just a little bit bigger than this, right? But it's in their front yard, and it shows that Sebastian is indeed missing. Again, the very least they could do. But nonetheless, they did that. And Silver's even recognized that. Good job. At least you did that, right? Then I thought, was that sign appropriate in the small neighborhood where surely everybody knows Sebastian? I thought it was appropriate too. At least that was something that they did. Silver's got me thinking though, where are any photos anywhere online of Sebastian's bedroom that he lived in? Not before, not the model home photos, but how did he live in his room? Why aren't there any photos? Are they too telling? And now are they just a sterile bedroom? Makes me think, has the home ever been properly searched by law enforcement via a search warrant, right? If they didn't have a search warrant, they couldn't go and do a thorough search. If Chris and Katie said, oh yeah, you can look around, that's within reason, right? But a search warrant gives them the ability to go in and pick up some carpets and look under sofas and look under beds and check out mattresses and see exactly what may or may not have happened in that home. From that, searching in and below the actual structure led me to thinking, who does their lawn care? Now, I go a couple places here real quick. We're on the back side here. We're on the home stretch here, but just stick with me here and follow this. Who does their lawn care service? If it's Chris, does he go out there once a week and mow his yard? I'd love to see that. Got me thinking, okay, well, you don't want to be a stalker. No, I don't believe in stalking. But it led me to thinking down this new path for all of you out there that haven't thought this way yet. You ever see the First Amendment auditor videos? Look up First Amendment Protection Agency, or there's all kinds of them out there. There's really good ones. I'm sorry I don't remember all the names out there. I watch quite a few of them. But they basically stand on the right to film in public, that there is no right to privacy in public places. Hear me out, stick with me this. On sidewalks, right? You can stand on a sidewalk in front of a bank or a dispensary or a pharmacy or what else? Post office. You can actually go into a post office with a camera and film live, because our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, gives us the right to go and film, right? So why don't we have people like First Amendment auditors doing a little segue shift over here to a missing persons case? And man, I tell you what, they would offer so much attention and notoriety. Some of these auditors have like millions of subscribers. That's what we need. We need millions of eyes looking into this case, especially as we near the 1.5-year mark. Why haven't we found them trying to help us, these First Amendment auditors? Perhaps it's because of lack of knowledge. So I'm going to, effective this shocking truth, I am going to reach out to the First Amendment auditor communities and suggest that maybe they take a look at this and maybe just go walk the Stafford Court area and film and see what they see and talk to who they talk to and give us a real update as I get to law enforcement. We seem to be struggling there, right? I have to mention law enforcement. From the local Sumner Sheriff's Office to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and now, yes, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. If this is now indeed a federal case with the FBI, it's a federal case, right? That's what the FBI does. And as local and state law enforcement rarely, if ever, provide any updates, because they have none in this open investigation. In fact, all I've heard from Sumner Sheriff's Office is, well, we have no clues and we can't talk about it because it's an open investigation. It's 1.5 years. It's going to be an open investigation forever. When do we get to see what you've uncovered so that we can help solve the case if you can't? I'm sorry, I just got a little upset over that one. What do we, the people, need to do to get updates on this case now from the FBI, right? I think we should hold the FBI to a higher standard than the State Bureau of Investigation and certainly the local Sumner Sheriff's Department. From what I am led to believe, pay attention here, the FBI is not filing this case away, as it appears Sumner County and the TBI have. There's an active investigation going on with the FBI that we'll just say they may be unaware of. I look forward to hearing more from that. Now, in wrapping things up, fact is there are so many questions in this case, right? Sadly, Sebastian Rogers now represents one of 750,000 children that went missing last year in 2024. I'm going to say it again. He represents one of 750,000 kids that went missing last year in the United States of America. Our country, your country. What are we waiting for? Imagine if all of our combined social media coverage ignited mainstream media. Feel this for a second. And they routinely provided weekly updates on channels such as CNN or networks, CNN, Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC. Nancy Grace, Vinnie Politano investigates. What about the ID channel, where for $19 a month, you can save a life of a dog? Or you can send food overseas. Wait a minute, we have 750,000 children missing each year in the United States of America, and the ID channel, these networks, if they just all started doing something is better than nothing all of the time. Can you imagine? Even Court TV providing endless hours of some boring trials sometimes because they can't get access to the exciting trials. Why not cover some missing? Why not start a segment on ending child trafficking in America? Let me ask you this. Isn't your child worth your attention to this? Your child? You have children? Do they have children? I have a 7-year-old grandson and a 25-year-old grandson. Now my fear is that my 7-year-old grandson continues to thrive, and we keep our eyes open because all it takes is a blink of an eye and your child can be gone. If you don't take an active interest in this child's case, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, if you can't find it among yourself to say, you know what, I'm going to do something. Each week I give Tuesdays. My wife's like, why do you keep doing this? Because I've devoted my Tuesdays to this case until we know what happened to him. Because he is one of 750,000 children that disappeared last year. And I can't look at them all, but I can focus on him every week and look at the others of you out there that are doing the same thing. And together, our combined pool of shared knowledge will bring this case to the light of those that need to be lit upon or light shined on. How many more children need to vanish this year in 2025 before you take an active interest in doing something? 1 million? 2 million? 10 million children? How many children before it's your child or your grandchild? Think about it, folks. Serious stuff today. I hope some good comes from this. That's why I do this every Tuesday. That's why a lot of their social media content creators talk about this case and many others. I focus on this on Tuesdays. If I come up with just one new idea that nobody ever thought about, I thought I had one on here that caught my ear. First Amendment auditors. There's a whole resource of people out there, these First Amendment auditors, that if they thought about solving missing children's cases, I can only imagine the things we would uncover and discover. Folks, high-fiving out on behalf of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Also was on Dateline. I wanted to show you this. Here we go. That's the Dateline when they did a thing on them. But folks, remember, it's not about me. It's not about you. Today, it's about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. High-fiving out, I am SubaruSteve Montgomery in the beautiful resort city of Virginia Beach, Virginia.